Hey everyone, Kim Dunbar here with
Pierre.
and welcome back to That Marriage Life. So in this actual video, we are going to be talking about the 5 rules to getting through an argument, or at least our 5 rules for getting through an argument. For anybody that's been in a relationship, you know that ultimately it's going to come where you have a disagreement. And so there are some ways to get through it with a lot less drama and a little bit more constructive, nicety. So we came up with 5 ways that we have been able to survive ours, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you.
Right. And, before we get into all of the particular rules, I think it's important to know that if you're just married to someone that's smarter than you, you just make sure that you acknowledge that, that person is right most of the time. But unfortunately in marriage, that doesn't happen. Some people have too much pride to admit that who's the smarter of the person, and they're right all the time. So,
and ladies, when your husband's head is this big, just pray for him, okay? Just let him enjoy his bubble of manhood, and then pop it when it comes time for your chance, okay? All right, come on. Rule number 1 for how to get through an argument. What do we got?
Okay. The number 1 rule is make sure you search for compromise or middle ground. You want to make sure that both parties are being heard. Everyone's feelings and thoughts are being taken into consideration. And one person, even if they're the more dominant person, and even if they're smarter, they still have to listen to the other person's, reasons or whatever. Because it is a marriage, it's a partnership. So you guys got to do that stuff together.
I like it. Rule number 2: in our arguments, we don't curse at each other. For me, Pierre, he respects the fact that I don't curse at all. It's a thing that I decided to do a long time ago in relation to my faith. Pierre whisper curses like all through the house, and Angie's starting to pick it up, which that's a whole other subject. But when it comes to having conversations with each other, we realized, or at least I realized, that the less I cursed or the less I succumbed to that part of me, the more I was able to cool down my anger and actually use my words constructively to communicate better with him. Yeah. I don't know. How about you?
So yeah, if you're married to a goody two shoes, no. But so like that rule honestly comes from a place of loving each other,
and respect.
Yeah, respect. Like there's a little bit of a backstory, like but when someone is traumatized by constant arguing when they're a certain age, they know how that feels, and that's something you're gonna have to deal with in marriage. This carries over to other things. That's the reason why I'm expanding on this, the way that I am. When someone feels a certain way about something, that goes back to the first part of compromise. That even if it's not logical, if something brings out a certain emotions in people, you have to respect that.
Aww.
And
so much. I'm so proud. All right, number 3. What we got?
What is number 3? Number 3 is use humor to lighten the situation. And that's something that we do very well.
All the time.
So, we're acting silly now, but to be honest with you, this is actually how we argue. We're pretty, happy-go-lucky, head in the clouds type couple.
We try to be.
Kim's a happy-go-lucky person as it is. She thinks that the Care Bears is a documentary.
Anyway,
so
But one example of using humor when it comes to our arguments is actually an example of role playing. So say Pierre is frustrated with me, and for the life of me, I can't understand why he's frustrated. One thing that he will do is he will raise his voice an octave and be like, "My name is Kim. I think this and this and this and this and this." And as annoyingly, that's our daughter. That as annoying as that might sound, like the fact that he is voicing exactly where he's coming from in that voice, like it allows me to both listen to him and hear his perspective from whatever argument we're coming from. So I mean, I'd say try it. Like you never know. Like especially for me, I'm going like, "My name's Pierre. I will leave my socks in the middle of the living room that my wife just cleaned because I like it there." And you see,
right?
Made him laugh.
Arguments are pretty, heavy anyway. Man, like sometimes arguments can get so crazy that they can, like one argument, it can't break up a marriage, but it can definitely, like the tone of our marriage is very playful. We make sure that we address all of the important topics. We know that we can't run away from stuff, but at the same time, we don't have to be at each other's throats about it either.
So what else we got here? This is my rule. Try not to walk away from during an argument. That's number 4. I have this comes from just like in my past, watching people argue around me that, walking away was a big thing, especially like if you grew up with 90s sitcoms where, they would say something and then they just walk away and you had that music. It was terrible. But that was what I would do. Pierre, I didn't realize that early in our marriage, like our first year, he told me how it affected him when I would walk away in an argument. So for me, I have to take the time to I'm like, okay, if I do take a couple steps, I have to remember that I have to step back to my husband. Let him know that I am not, just walking away from him. Or I just pause. And in me pausing, that's kind of like Pierre's signal to just kind of let me think through my words, because I want to communicate effectively with him. But
she majored in coloring, so I know.
See, and
when
this
she
is
sits
why we
to
argue.
think,
This
it takes a little while.
Anyways,
but
number 5 way of how to get through an argument for us is
to remember that you love each other.
Yeah. I think all in all, the underlying thing that every relationship should have is that love and respect for one another. Just because you're arguing does not mean that you guys are in 2 opposite boxing rings, just getting ready to, to combat each other.
Because we know who will win now.
I will win.
Yeah, she probably would.
I'm telling you. But no, like at the end of the argument, it should be to come, like the solution should be to come back together stronger, and hopefully with a little bit more wisdom, a little less stress. Speaking of stress, that is our daughter. So now we got to figure out exactly how to deal with her.
Yeah, we hope those 5 tips help you.
Yeah, and that is that marriage life for this time around. We will see you again hopefully next week. Fingers crossed. All right. Love you guys. Bye.